This is going to be a long and sort of rambling video, and before I even get started, I'm going to point out that you are not obligated to watch it. And if you don't want to watch it, if you don't like what I'm talking about, if you don't like the sound of my voice, you are welcome to dislike this video and just go away. You're dismissed. Do whatever you like. You don't have to be here. Go outside. Ride a bike or something. It's whatever. There's a billion other YouTube videos you could watch. You don't have to watch this one. Just bye. Okay, that's out of the way. This video is going to piss some people off, and I'm aware of that, and that's fine. But I've been thinking about making this video for about 2 months now. And as you might be aware, it's been the better part of a year since I uploaded a video. So I've been thinking about what to put in this video, and there are a number of things I want to talk about, and they all kind of relate to each other. So the things I want to cover are YouTube in general, Paradox/Victoria2/U4, a history of my channel and philosophy when it comes to making videos and how that's changed or not changed over time, and finally, things going forward. So again, if that doesn't interest you, you're welcome to leave. You don't have to watch this video. I'm going to make it anyway, and I don't need anyone's permission to make it, so I'm going to make it. Now, YouTube at one point actually had a rule against showing your AdSense revenue on YouTube, but YouTube doesn't actually follow its own guidelines, so frankly, I don't give a shit. But I'm going to be talking about money today, so again, if that bothers you, then you're welcome to leave. Now, before I jump into anything else, the sort of theme of the video is this. I'm not a YouTuber. And I think I can qualify that pretty easily, and we'll do that through the video, but that's sort of the theme of the video. I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer who uploads videos to YouTube, but I'm not a YouTuber. I'm also not a streamer, even though I stream. And we'll get to why that's important as we go through. But just sort of keep that in the back of your mind. And also, I'm going to be using this aspect. This might bother you if you don't like the black bars at the side, but this is reality. This is what I see. Obviously, the top and bottom have been cut off a bit, but basically, I've got two 5x4 monitors that are different sizes. And it's a pain in the ass getting 16:9. So I'm just not going to get 16:9. And again, if that bothers you, you're welcome to leave and give this video a dislike and fucking report it for hate speech or whatever. I don't care. Let's move on. Now, when I first started actively uploading to this channel, there were two main things that I was focusing on. The first of these was Final Fantasy Online, which was a Final Fantasy fan game that I worked on for the better part of a decade. That's actually pretty important to this video, so I'm going to be talking about that. And also videos related to My Little Pony, which is how I got into video editing. So if that bothers you, again, you're welcome to just leave. But I'm going to be talking about it, so here we go. Now, a lot of this is included in this particular video, reminiscing about Final Fantasy Online for Beyond. But I want to talk about sort of my philosophy for FFO. Now, when I was working on FFO, the reason I started that project was because I had an idea for what would be essentially the perfect game. Now, you say, oh, how can you possibly say the perfect game? Well, you know, I had some ideas, and I said, this game doesn't exist, I'm going to make it. It was just sort of a coincidence that I happen to be a big fan of Final Fantasy, so that's sort of the direction it went. It could have just as easily been Dragon Warrior, who knows, Fire Emblem or something. But basically, it was a hack and slash style game which played on the Beyond engine, and it was multiplayer, an MMORPG, and it happened to use Final Fantasy graphics and themes. And it played like, so basically it played like Diablo. Some people have compared it to Guild Wars, which I don't know if that's a good comparison because I've never played Guild Wars, but games sort of in that vein. So this is what I did in my free time. It was my hobby. Now, eventually, Square Enix decided to cease and desist the project, as well as all other Final Fantasy projects on Beyond, but it kept going sort of underground and kept building it as it went along. Now, this was back in the 2000s. It started in 2002, and really its heyday was through about 2009, so this was a while ago. Now, back in the day, you know, this was before Discord, this was before a lot of these other sort of group chat sorts of things. So, you know, some of them existed, but mostly people were using forums to interact with each other. So we moved from forum to forum, just as other groups did. And, you know, you can find free forum servers, but there's always some little caveats here and there. Well, I didn't like those caveats, and I decided they didn't quite fit what I needed for this game. So I decided to make my own forum system. So it's like, why are you talking about this ancient forum system from 12 years ago? Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. Basically, I created this forum from scratch because it fit a need, but everything that was running this project and everything associated with it was running out of my apartment. This was on old Pentium 4 HTs, several of them, and all running simultaneously doing different things. One ran the game, one ran a test server, one ran the forums, one was the one I was using to edit things. That was my actual working PC, and they're all interconnected and stuff. So it was a great experience. It was fun to do. It was a fun little side project, but it also had its downsides, and the biggest one being the cost. Computers cost money to run, and 4 or 5 computers cost 4 or 5 times as much money to run. And if you're in a small apartment and you have to pay for heating and cooling costs, well, in the winter it's fine because you got 5 extra little heaters running constantly. In the summer it's a bit of a problem, so you got to pay that extra cooling cost. So basically, running all this shit costs some money. I didn't ask anyone for money to run it. There was no donation, there was no GoFundMe, there was no Patreon. It was just I paid for it. But eventually, because I had made this form from scratch and, wasn't beholden to anyone else, I did throw some Google ads on it. And it wasn't the standard, 3 giant ads per page. It was 1 ad at the top, banner ad, and that was it. And on about 1/5 of all pages that you saw, there were no ads. It wasn't like I was being incredibly greedy about it, but, if you happen to be on the site, and if you happen to be gracious enough to turn off your ad blocker, then you could help pay a few cents a day toward using this site. This forum got some traffic. Now, it wasn't like thousands of users. Well, technically there were. But the more important thing is that this was our primary means of communicating with each other aside from in-game. So people were just on this forum constantly. And so, it wasn't a lot of money, but, 5 cents a day is better than 0 cents a day. So over time, eventually I got a check out of it, and, it paid for a little bit of the cost that it cost to run this whole project. Now that same philosophy has basically been how I've treated YouTube. You'll notice that I don't have a Patreon. You'll notice that I don't ask for donations. You'll notice that I don't shill for products. You'll notice that I don't go around promoting random things for kickbacks. And there's a reason for that. It's by design. That is, on YouTube, my philosophy is if you happen to watch my stuff, and if you are gracious enough to turn off your ad blocker, then I get a tiny bit of money out of it. And it's basically the Matt Jarbo, I think that's his name, is turn off that pesky ad block. Basically, that's been my model since the beginning, except I've never outright said it. That's the first tie-in between FFO and YouTube in the present day. The second thing is my process for making FFO. So I'd have an idea for what would be a good change. Given the current situation of the game, here's what I think would be better. Some of those were things that other people suggested, some of those were things that I intuited on my own, and basically, I would make that change. And people might complain, they might say, oh, this would be terrible, shouldn't do that for whatever reason, but once I made up my mind that I was going to do it, I just fucking do it. And, if people like it, great, and if they didn't, then whatever, they can go play another game. And that's not to say that everything I do is perfect, but that is my process for anything that I do online as a hobby. And this is probably the first and most obvious example of where I'm not a YouTuber. Because there are things that YouTubers do just because they're YouTubers. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more quality content. You know why you never hear that shit at the end of my videos? It's not because I forgot to put it there, that's by design. That annoys the shit out of me when I hear it in someone else's video. Now, I know everyone does this, but if I come across some random video, and it's not a channel that I'm particularly fond of or whatever, and then, it's an okay video, and then at the end they have 10% of the video devoted to telling you to like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out their Patreon and click their Skillshare or Brilliant or whatever the fuck. That is the threshold where I say, okay, I'm disliking this video. That's just me. Maybe you like that stuff at the end, but for me it's a waste of time. I don't want it. I don't do it. That's how I approach making YouTube videos. The next thing I want to talk about is My Little Pony. Even as I say now that I'm not a YouTuber, that wasn't necessarily always the case, because when I started on YouTube, I was trying to become a YouTuber, and not like a PewDiePie YouTuber, but just someone who was kind of generally known in a community on YouTube. That has completely fallen through. And that's fine. That's just the reality of the situation. And as we go through, I mean, there's just a lot of things that are kind of unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. When I started making videos on YouTube, I was using my shitty Pentium 4 and making videos in 720p. Even though my computer couldn't really handle 720p, that's what I was making everything in. You might hate My Little Pony, and that's fine. You can give me shit for starting this way. It's whatever. But I will say that this is where I got my start, and this is where I learned how to do video editing. So it is important for that reason. Now, as I said, I've been thinking about making this video for about 2 months. And this is one of the things that I really wanted to point out. It's sort of the difference in how I make videos now versus how I made videos then. Now, there's one video in particular that I want to talk about here, and it's this one. Of all the videos I've ever made, that includes Gur Infinity, that includes every single war room, that includes Paradox Theater, that includes Victrax, any video that I've ever made, in my opinion, this is the best video I've ever made. And you say, that's stupid, this is some dumb My Little Pony video. But this is more highly edited than any other video I've ever done. And the best thing about it, and perhaps the worst thing about it, is that you can't even tell it's been edited. I spent virtually all of my free time for a week making this video, because that's just how I work. When I become inspired to do something, I devote all of my time to it until it's done. And this took me a week to make, proofing and reproofing and making sure every single frame was perfect. And what you have here is a shot-for-shot, frame-by-frame recreation of the Dave the Gnome introduction. And you might not know what Dave the Gnome is, that's fine, whatever. Basically, everyone at the time was ponifying stuff, and I was like, this thing should be ponified. So I did it. Made what I thought was a pretty great video. Roughly 97% of people seemed to like it. But as I mentioned at the time, I was trying to basically become a YouTuber in this community. And that is the people that make ponified things. Unfortunately, the gatekeepers at the time didn't like this video. It was too simple for them. They decided that since it didn't have, After Effects spewed onto it, since it didn't have all those fancy lens flares and whatever typography, other shit that people were doing at the time, since it didn't have any of that, this was too simple and it wasn't going to make the cut. And that was sort of the beginning of the end for me in this community, and that's why I bring it up. It's not that I didn't keep up with the show after that, because I did. But as far as making videos online, this was the last what I would call sincere video that I've ever made. So after that, you get sort of ironic bullshit, which is really all that I'm going to invest my time into, because, why pour yourself into something if no one's going to watch it, and the people who watch it are going to call it not worth their time? Okay, so that's just reality. This was the video that's sort of the end of that era for me. And after that, I decided to move on to other things. And a lot of the videos that I made at the time were just little shitty videos that didn't matter. And a lot of them got deleted because a certain unnamed Paradox Golden Boy threatened to have my whole channel deleted. So I decided to delete a lot of those old videos to prevent him from potentially getting other third parties to copyright strike my channel. So, most of that little shitty videos that I made were gone. The ones that are left are the ones that I thought were actually worth something. I guess the point of all that I'm saying here is that this video is what proved to me that regardless of how much time or effort you put into a video, nothing is guaranteed. If you build it, they won't come necessarily. They might come, but they could just as easily go to that baseball diamond right next door. So after this, I sort of took a different approach to making videos. And I actually stopped making videos for about 3 years. So during that 2.5 to 3 years, I was doing other things. I was working on Trulia, working on those forums that I mentioned. I was working on other projects. I was also playing a shit ton of Victoria 2, playing EU3. EU4 came out somewhere in that window, but basically EU3 was the game that probably ate up more of my time during that era. But basically I went back to Victoria 2 at some point. I was a big fan of the Divide by Zero mod, and it's still one of my favorites. And I thought, I sort of had that itch, I guess you could say. I haven't made a video in a while, and I want to do something. Because I liked editing. Editing itself can be fun. Now, I've never really been one to watch Let's Plays, and as far as who was big at the time, I'm not even talking just in general. I'm talking about like in the Paradox gaming scene. I have no fucking clue, because I didn't watch them. I had no interest in watching them. because as I went through, I mean, I clicked on a few of them obviously, but I don't know who they were. But they were all kind of cookie cutter videos. It's like, hello, welcome to part whatever. In this video, we're going to be doing X, and then they'd try and do it and maybe do it. I don't know. But I'd watch them. And it's like, oh my god, what the fuck are you doing? That's not how you play. And then at the end of the video, like and subscribe. Be sure to donate to my Patreon. It's like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? I did retain some aspects, but obviously the way that I made the videos was different. So you'll notice that if I have a single player campaign, the vast majority of the campaign is actually cut out, and that's just because of the way that I play games. See, I play games very analytically, and he's like, oh, I play games analytically. Well, maybe you do, but I min-max naturally. That's not bragging, that's just what I do. That's what I've always done. I see a problem, I solve it, and then I go to town. Once I solve the problem, I don't see a need to talk about the problem, which is different from YouTubers. So whenever you watch a YouTuber playing a game, they're going to have to stop and explain everything they're doing, and it's going to take 5 times longer than if they just click the damn button. I'm just going to click the button, and hopefully you know why I clicked it, because I'm not going to stop and tell you. That is, unless I'm making a tutorial video. But in general, that's not how I play. I play the game first, and then the explanation comes second, if at all. Which means that when I'm playing a game, 90% of that game I'm not talking, even if I'm streaming. I'm just going to be focused on the game, and I'm going to be playing the damn game. Now, if you come into a stream and you start talking to me, I'll be happy to tell you what's going on, but I don't just sit and talk to myself when I'm playing. That's just not how I do things. So when I was making these videos, these were heavily edited. I cut out the vast majority of the content that was there. So I'd record like, I don't know how many hours, and then just cut out the majority of it. But that made what I thought was a watchable video. Because again, I edit the videos, so I have to watch them, and then as I watch them, I say, okay, this is a good video, and then I upload it. It might not be the best video, you might not like it, but that's how I like videos, and that's how I made them. Now, shortly after starting this, I decided, hey, you know what? I'd actually never played multiplayer before that point. I'd played Victoria for ages, and I started actually with Victoria 1, and quickly jumped to Victoria 2, and then it was off to the races. But basically, I'd never tried multiplayer. There were some people in the various groups that I was in, and we kind of got to talking, and it's like, yeah, let's try it. So we did, and we had a blast. And you can really see the results of this if you watch the Bali series, which is, I think, one of the most fun series that we've ever done, just as early Filthy Casuals. And it was a shit show, but we had fun doing it. And this is kind of the gameplay that I like. In multiplayer, you don't end up editing as much out because there's banter going on, which is great. Great for me as an editor because, in a single player, I have to provide 100% of the content. And as Marconi puts it, I'm not the YouTuber, I'm the cameraman. But, as far as multiplayer goes, I really got my start with the Filthy Casuals, which was basically just a group of us hanging out and shooting the shit while we were playing Victoria 2. After that, I got in with Slazer's group. And, that's the ranked games and the more serious games. I was okay at Victoria 2 before that, but a lot of those strategies, and I've talked about this in Zero to Hero, the strategies that you don't pick up on your own, that's where I pick them up, because you get your ass handed to you. It's like, regardless of how good you are against an AI, you're going to get your ass handed to you when fucking people texting me during the middle of a video. See, this is the shit that I edit out. I'm not going to edit that intentionally. Alright. So, anyway, I got in with this group, and regardless of how good you are against fighting the AI, once it comes to actual players, you're going to get your ass handed to you at least a few times. And, maybe you get lucky like I did, and you end up crushing one of them because you happen to be good enough. But really, you learn the ropes during multiplayer, and that's really where you hone your skills. And that's exactly what I did. And I recorded and I uploaded, and you can see some of these, things don't go well, some of them things do go well. Whenever there was something particularly interesting that I thought would happen in the next session, I'd record that, put it in a war room. But basically, Filthy Casuals kind of died down, and more we went to the more serious format, which is less about hanging around and having fun, and more about playing to win, which is, perfectly fine, and I can play in that environment. But now I want to talk more about YouTubers versus non-YouTubers. See, I've had the misfortune of watching some actual YouTubers play multiplayer games, and they're god-awful. And it's not that they're necessarily bad at the game, but the videos make me want to pull my hair out. And the reason why is because, again, you have the introduction, you gotta do all this separate stuff, but basically the whole video is catered to the video rather than to the game. Now you'll notice that when I upload a series, if it's a multiplayer series, there are no introductions, there are no conclusions, it's just raw gameplay. And if you're playing a game with me and you happen to be in one of these videos, I mean, there's three possible situations. The first is like the Slazer scenario, and it's not about Slazer, but like if I'm with that group, here's what happens. I hop into the game, and I say, hey, could someone make sure the stream's working? And they give me the thumbs up, and then we never talk about the stream again. It's just gameplay. That's situation one. There, again, no intros, no outros, there's no like and subscribe. There's none of that shit. It's just raw gameplay. And that gets edited too. All the extra bullshit gets taken out. And there you go, there's your gameplay. And this is unlike anything that people have been putting on YouTube. Slazer did for a while, and he also is a gamer and not a YouTuber. And I can say that because he makes videos in the same style. But when I do watch actual YouTubers, it drives me nuts. Alright, so that's the first style. The second style is more the filthy casual style. So when we're bantering with each other and we're having fun and we're playing the game and we're focusing on the game, but the actual focus of the video isn't necessarily the game, it's the shit that we're talking about. Now, again, if you aren't interested in hearing us talk about random shit, then you can go watch something else. But that video is more interesting to me personally than the raw gameplay, which is why I uploaded that style. Now, if you happen to be watching one of those streams when we're doing a Filthy Casuals and you start typing to us, we'll talk back to you. That is, we're focusing on the game, but the actual focus over the game is each other, and included with each other is the person watching the stream. So in that case, we're actually engaging with people and we're having a good time, and whatever happens in the game happens, and then, we'll laugh about it later. The third situation is what I already mentioned, which is when I do single player and I'm streaming. So I just play the game. If anyone hops into the stream, we'll talk, but I'm not going to sit and talk to myself because that just wastes my time that I could be playing the game. And now I want to talk again about the differences between YouTubers and gamers who upload YouTube videos. Now on my channel, I have several series about EU4, and some of these were more casual. The ones that were not casual were the ones that were some of the least enjoyable campaigns I've ever played of any game ever. And there were several reasons for this. The focus of the game obviously is one thing, but the thing I want to talk about is actually the players. Again, the difference between a YouTuber and a gamer. If I hop into one of these super serial games, that's the kind of game where I say, hey, is the stream working? And then I shut up about the stream. If you talk to me in the stream chat, I'm going to type back to you because I don't want to interrupt anyone else. So we're focused on the game, we're playing the game, and you get to see what I see, and the other people that are interacting with me are, I'm not going to interrupt them. Like, if I have something to say, obviously I'm going to say it, but I'm not going to talk to someone in the stream chat over the other people in the game. The rudest people I've ever played with are actual YouTubers, because they do the exact opposite. You're going to do intros and outros during the game. You're going to basically put the YouTube community and the stream chat over the other players. And how do you do that? Well, you sequester yourself in some hidden channel, and you make sure no one gets in there to interrupt your intro or outro. You're going to basically be talking to yourself while you're playing a multiplayer game. It's single player multiplayer. And as another player in that group, it's like, why the fuck am I playing with you? Why am I in a multiplayer game if you're not taking part in the multiplayer game? Now, maybe you watch these people, maybe you like their content, you say, oh, I appreciate that he's talking to me in the YouTube video. That's great. But as a player, I can say that's the rudest thing I've ever seen. And I don't want to play with rude players. I mean, if you want to banter, that's one thing, but if you're going to show up to the multiplayer game and then not take part in the multiplayer game, then I don't want to play with you. Now I'm going to shift gears again. Between 2014 and 2016, YouTube was my hobby. Play the games, we'd have a great time, I'd edit the videos and then upload them. Whoever happened to watch it, watched it. It's whatever. I had a great time doing it, and it was fun to go back and rewatch those campaigns, because remember, I edit the videos, so I have to rewatch everything. Lately, that hasn't been the case, and as time progressed, it became less and less fun to go back and edit the videos. Part of it is that I've been playing with more competitive groups, and when you play with more competitive groups, you not only have to up your game, but it's also more stressful to play those games. And you can just meme around and, hope for the best and, just fuck off and do your own thing. But if you want to have a good outcome in that campaign, you have to actually put in some effort. And putting in effort means more than just min-maxing your own nation. That's part of it. But the other part of it is juggling the 10 other diplomatic relations that you have with other major nations. So that is kind of stressful. There are some other things that happened during this time. In 2014, I uploaded the very first War Room video. And the idea was, I take some interesting situation from the current state of the game, and I talk about what was likely to happen in the next session, and also what my plans are, and what's likely to happen as a consequence. Basically, here's my strategy. I'm going to try and make it work, and we'll see what happens. Immediately bit me in the ass. The reason why is because I'm playing with competitive players who know that I have this channel, who know that I upload the series, and so they just sit and watch my channel until like seconds before the game, and I'd upload the video, and then here they are watching all my plans. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to fuck over Gaku now. And it's not that they necessarily did it intentionally to fuck me over, but that's just smart gameplay, because one of the things you do in multiplayer is you don't talk about your plans. Not to other people, not to people that those plans affect. Here's the perfect example. If you're playing Austria, and your goal is to take Madagascar, you don't tell France. But if you have an entire video that's devoted to saying, I'm Austrian, I'm going to take Madagascar, and then France sees it, what are they going to do? They're going to fuck you over. So this entire series was just one big way for me to fuck myself over in these multiplayer games, which is a bit of a problem. That's also why I stopped uploading War Rooms as regularly as I used to. Because originally I uploaded these videos before the session, and the other players could just all watch them and be like, oh, here's what Gaku's going to do. And it's like, well, that wasn't going to work. So I wait until like the middle of the session and then upload it. But people would watch those too. So it's like middle of the session. It's like, hey, Gaku just uploaded a War Room. And then everyone would go watch it in the middle of the session. Like, God damn it. So then I would upload it like way late in the session. But even then, if I had some plan that required, some time, and if enough time hadn't passed for whatever reason, or, maybe the game just got postponed or canceled earlier, who knows. For whatever reason, if my plan hadn't come to fruition, then I would just, again, fuck myself over because, hey, look, here's Gaku's plans. Everyone can see what I'm doing now. I think about what I'm going to put into YouTube videos almost every day, even as I don't make them. So, this is one of the things I want to mention in part 6 of Zero to Hero, is don't talk about your plans any more than you have to. But, this is like where I'm shooting myself in the foot every time I upload a video. So this series is a massive problem. Later on in the series, I started talking more about post games, which, as a series worked out better, because then I could talk about, here's what happened, here's the problem with what happened, or here's what should have happened, that sort of thing. And, that format works better. My desire to make War Room videos is very, very, very low, because I know that doing so only hurts myself. And I'm a competitive player, and I put the game over YouTube, which means that I care more about the game than YouTube, which means the War Room is just not a concern. If I'm playing a game, I want to win the game. YouTube is a secondary consideration. Let's talk about these later videos. So we get into some where it's very cutthroat, people out to win, more serious games, and they're not necessarily fun to play. It's fun to win, or it's rewarding to win, but it's not necessarily fun, and it can be quite stressful. At this moment, I make the vast majority of my money driving for Uber. And you can talk shit about that all you want. I make pretty good money driving for Uber. Now I'm going to talk about scheduling a little bit. Those big multiplayer games that I'm in, 15, 20 players or more, this is when they're played. Noon to 4 or 1 to 5, Saturdays and Sundays, typically. Now, that's fine and great if you got time off, but as a driver, the time that I make the most money of the entire week is right here. Do you see the problem here? This shit does not work out. This is unsustainable. You can't work all night, sleep for about 4 hours, get up, and then play a game. And then take a nap, go out, work again, sleep for 4 hours, play another game, take another nap, and then go out and work. It just doesn't work. You know why I can say that? Because I did it. I did it. That was the last 2 series that I did. And I was fucking miserable the whole time. United States and Filthy Casuals and Mamluks. This shit just doesn't work. I went out, worked all night, got home, tried to sleep, and then I'd wake up, chug half a pot of coffee, sit down, and pretend to be awake while playing either E4 or Victoria 2. And again, I'll remind you, if you don't want to hear me talk about this, you're welcome to go watch something else. But that's the reality of the situation. And, for those of you who are tone deaf and you can't tell the inflection of my voice, maybe this is a situation where you look and say, oh, well, you're boring and monotone. That was a comment I got a lot. Yeah, I am boring and monotone when I haven't slept for anything but 4 hours. So, thanks for reminding me. Now, when I get up and play these games, I'm fucking miserable. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be playing these games. I'd rather just go back to sleep. But I show up and play them anyway. Why? Because I guess I'm fucking stupid. So I'd show up, I'd play the damn game, and then I'd be miserable. I'd record it. I think it was the very last War Room that I did. I talked about how I wasn't even paying attention to what was going on in the game, and that was why. It's because I was half asleep. I did it, or at least I tried to do it, and I tried to make it as interesting as I could, but that shit's just not sustainable. So that's the main reason why I stopped playing for most of the past year. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work with my schedule, and here's the worst part, okay? Like, if I get up, I sleep for 4 hours, I get up, I can play the game. And I can still min-max just on autopilot. I can autopilot the game, be completely uninteresting, and play the game and still do okay. That's okay. But then I have to go back and spend another 4 hours editing the damn video. So I have to go watch through the whole thing again, and I have to watch myself be miserable as I'm editing it, and the end result is just a shit video. I don't want to watch this video. Does anyone want to watch this video? I don't know. But the fact is, these are not up to my standard. So I don't want to make these videos. You know, number one, I'm not having a good time. And number two, I can see myself not having a good time. And the videos are lower quality. So that's just the way it works. Let's consider again. You got 2 campaigns a week. It's 4 hours apiece. So that's 8 hours. But you can't just show up and immediately start playing. There's like pre-game, you got to get stuff set up, make sure the host is there. So that's at least 30 minutes before the game. So that's another hour total for 2 games, right? 30 minutes plus 30 minutes. There's probably going to be some little bit of something going on after the game, so tack on another hour. That's 10 hours a week. And then you got to edit the whole damn thing. So that's another roughly 10 hours a week. That's 20 hours a week. That's a full part-time job just to make the goddamn videos that aren't any good. And that's my opinion. Don't watch these videos. They're shit. Don't watch them. I uploaded them, but, you know, I'm sorry. I apologize for uploading these videos. Don't watch them. So that gets to why I haven't been uploading regular series. And I hope you can understand that, but basically, I don't want to play a game where I'm not into it, and I don't want to edit a video where I'm playing a game that I'm not into. And again, if you're tone deaf, then maybe you don't pick that up from my voice, but if you compare a video where I'm having a good time and one where I'm not, it's pretty damn obvious. What's more, having a bad session can just ruin my day. It really will, because I'm competitive, and I don't like to lose. And I know that goes for just about everyone, but it's kind of hard to explain, really. Let's say you're playing a game, things don't go well in the game, and again, it doesn't have to be Victoria, it can be anything. You play a game, things don't go well, it can affect your mood. And if you are not streaming and not recording and not editing, then that's the end of it. So maybe it just puts you in a bad mood for a little while, and then you go pick up something else, and then you forget all about it, right? But when you edit your videos, you got to go back and watch yourself be miserable. You got to watch yourself lose all over again. And whatever pissed you off before is going to piss you off again, and you're going to see yourself get pissed off, so it's just going to ruin your mood all over again. It's not a fun situation. It really isn't. Some of you know what MLG Gaku is. It's a video Marconi put together. And it was a rare glimpse into me playing single player the way I actually play single player. I can become absolutely furious if I'm playing single player. And it's not a rare thing. It might be, let's say I'm playing Mayo. 2 to 4 times per campaign, MLG Gaku comes out. And that's just the way it goes. If I'm streaming, I keep that shit under wraps. If I'm recording, I usually keep that shit under wraps. But if things just push me too far like that one goddamn bug in the game did, then you're going to see that on the stream too. But again, it's very rare. And if I'm sitting around having fun, or joking, or bantering, then that doesn't happen. I'll just laugh it off. But if it's me by myself, yeah, I get really fucking pissed off. So yeah, videos are not as fun to make now as they were before for a number of reasons. But let's jump over to the analytics for a bit. Alright, so what I wanted to do here was make some comparisons, and you'll see why I'm doing this in just a moment. But I've got 3 tabs pulled up, and what I have here is 2.5 months of subscriber data. 2.5 months, let's call it 75 days, so 118 divided by 75, about 1.5 subscribers per day. Now, you'll see why I'm talking about this in just a moment. So 1.5, keep that in mind. Next we get to a period of about 3 months where I'm actively uploading videos. 146 subscribers divided by 90 is 1.6. And finally we get to the current era where I haven't uploaded in a long ass time. about 165 days. And during this time, 347 subscribers. So 347 divided by 165 is 2.1. YouTube is basically telling me that I get more subscribers when I don't upload than when I upload. That's really odd when you think about it. And you know what? Subscribers aren't the end of the world, and I'm aware of that. You know, more or less, it's like, well, people watch your videos or they don't. Whatever. But when every single time you log into YouTube and you see that number, it kind of affects you, whether you want it to or not. It's just like, you know, it's a popularity contest, and you know, you're in it whether you want to be or not, and that's the situation. So YouTube is actually telling me that more people will subscribe to me if I'm not actively uploading. And that's actually a small contributing factor to why I haven't been uploading. Notice also that when I start uploading, there's a dip in the number of subscribers. Here, I've actually got another one pulled up. So like when I start uploading, people start unsubscribing. The numbers actually slow down. It's like, I don't know, people accidentally subscribe, who knows? But once I start uploading the way I normally do, people are like, well, what the fuck is all this bullshit? This isn't what I subscribe for. And then they leave, which is fine. But as far as the metrics are concerned, that just means I shouldn't be uploading. Now, this is a pattern I've noticed because, you know, I've taken breaks. I've taken months off or weeks off, and, you know, I've noticed this. It's gone back since 2015. People subscribe when I'm not uploading faster than they do when I am uploading. And then the second I start uploading, people leave. It's like, well, what the fuck? Why did you subscribe in the first place? I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. Maybe you're watching this and like, I hate this video. I'm going to unsubscribe. Well, tell me why. And it's not that I'm going to change anything that I'm doing to accommodate you, but I'm just curious. I've never heard of this happening to anyone else, so I would like to know what the situation is. All right, well, that's just me. That's me being curious. But let's get to some other numbers. Now, when I started making these videos in 2014, I did have a goal in mind. And it's no secret that people make money on YouTube. And my goal was that it would be great if my channel could make enough money per month to pay for my internet. That's all I really wanted. We're talking about 50 bucks a month, and that's not a huge channel. I'm going to talk about ad revenue for a bit, and you know, if this offends you, I don't apologize because I'm a tiny YouTuber and people make way more than I do, so, you know, I don't care. But if you want to see the reality, here it is. And also, I'm going to say that I don't even use all of the potential ad sources, so, you know, just like I did on the FFO forums. I didn't put 3 banner ads on each page. I used 1. When it comes to YouTube, I don't use all of the ad options. I just use some of them, so I try not to be super intrusive. But anyway, this is the reality of the situation. So in a period where I'm uploading essentially 0 videos, I'm making about 25 cents a day. That's per day for that entire period averaged out. Comparing that to a period where I am uploading videos, and I've got this massive outlier here, which I'm going to include in, 92 cents per day for the entire period. So it ends up, you know, it adds up. But again, compare that to a period where I'm not uploading videos, 40 cents per day. A period where I am uploading videos, 57 cents per day. And then finally, this is the present situation, a period where I'm not uploading videos at all and haven't uploaded since the 3rd of fucking September, 86 cents per day. I can't explain it. I don't know why. But this is the situation. YouTube's telling me I make more money by not uploading videos than when I upload videos. So, you know, there's an incentive. There's an incentive there. YouTube is telling me don't upload videos. I can't explain it. I really can't. Let me open my trusty paint window again. See, the way most YouTube traffic works is like this. You've got number of views. You've got time. This isn't, you know, kinetics or anything. Basically, a video goes out. You get a ton of views in like the first day, and then it drops off, and then it hits 0, and then it basically goes to 0. This isn't what happens with my channel. In my channel, it goes 0, 0, 0, and then like this. And, you know, it's not this massive, but, you know, it's this very, very slow rise, and it just keeps going. It's like, what the hell is this? What am I supposed to do with this? It doesn't make any goddamn sense, what I'm saying. So that's yet another reason why I'm not uploading videos, because when I look at the numbers tell me to not upload videos. And it's not that money is the most important thing in the world, but my situation is not the same as it was 2 years ago. So money is a lot more important to me than it was 2 years ago. And it's not that I want to do this as a career. Again, I'm not seeking to become a YouTuber at this point, but if it's a difference between a little bit of money and a tiny bit less money when I put in more effort, then it's like, what's the obvious choice here? I'm just not going to make videos. Okay, so that's another reason. I want to switch gears again. I want to talk about this page because this is my YouTube Creator Studio, as they call it, and this is my YouTube homepage. Whenever I go to YouTube, I go here. I don't go to the main page. I don't go to trending or whatever the fuck they have now. I don't even know. I go to subscriptions and I go here. This panel is where your videos show up once they're published. So when I'm actively uploading videos, they go here. The newest one goes here and it bumps down all the other ones. So this is pretty basic stuff. So my newest video is here, second newest is here, and on down. Now, when I'm actively uploading videos, these are not the numbers that I see. The numbers that I see are 10 or 50 or 20 or maybe 100 if I'm lucky. But, you know, this number here, this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. And this is sort of a weird YouTube paradox, I guess, because when you're making videos, you have no fucking clue how successful they are. Because, again, unlike the typical curve, which is super successful in the first couple days and then drops off, mine are the exact opposite. I get comments on ancient videos. I get notifications on my phone that someone posted a video from on a video from 3 years ago. It's like, what the hell? It doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. Again, it's human nature. You want that feedback. You want to know, you put in the time to make a video, and you want to see that there's some engagement on that video. Go back to the pony stuff. So I made the videos, no one watched them, and then I just like, well, I got better things to do than make videos that no one's going to watch. But that's not what happens in my case. I make the videos, and then months later, people watch them. It's like, what the hell? But that is also a sort of, it fucks with you. It really does. Again, here, I'm going to describe why this doesn't make sense, because my typical window looks like this. It's one video after another, after another, after another, with 0 views, hardly any views. I mean, if you're watching these, thank you. I really do appreciate it. But, you know, as someone who is spending time making these things, when I see there's hardly any views, it's like, why the fuck am I spending this time to make the video? And a video like this, if I'm actively uploading videos, this is gone in like 2 days because bam, 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 bam. So it's like, here's my noon upload, here's my 4 p.m. upload, here's my 8 p.m., my midnight, and then my BDoc short comes after that. And it's like, this video is gone over the course of a day, and then I never see it again. It's just gone. So the biggest surprise to me of everything since I stopped uploading videos is this right here. I had no clue that 60,000 people had watched this video. No clue. 0. I got a bunch of comments on it, but I get a bunch of comments on all my old videos. It's like, I don't know how many people watch these things. 47K watched this one. It's like, I don't know why. When I uploaded it, no one watched it. And then later on, all of a sudden, people just decided to watch it, and I got spammed with comments. Now, this also kind of fucks with you, and it does. It really does. So when I made this video, this whole series, 3 of them, I upload them on the Paradox forums, and everyone shit on them. Everyone. It's like, it's massive arguments about why everything I said was wrong, and I obviously was not a good player because, you know, how could I dare question the gods at Paradox about what they thought was best? So I was like, well, I'm glad I wasted my time making those videos that no one's going to watch and everyone disagrees with. So, yeah, I just forgot about it. And then eventually, somehow, for some reason, who knows why, it caught on. And I don't know why. I don't know where these views came from. I don't know who they are. Maybe you subscribed having watched this video. I don't know. But it's confusing at the very least, and it's incredibly annoying if I'm being honest, because it just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, so you put in the effort, you spend hours making videos, and then they just randomly kind of take off months later. Months. I don't understand it. Okay, so that's that. Let's talk about something else here. PDoc Shorts. Now, I mentioned that, at least I think I mentioned that I don't really watch Let's Plays. I don't like the style. I don't like the format. Typically the content, and especially the pandering. All that shit annoys me, and I edit my videos the way I would make a Let's Play that I would want to watch, and I've talked about this. Okay. Now, I also recognize that Let's Plays take a long-ass time to watch. So, if we've got 4 hours of gameplay on the weekend, and if you want to stay current with that content, that means you got to watch about 3 hours and 30 minutes worth of video during the week, or you're going to be behind. Now that stuff's up forever, so you can watch it, but if you want to stay like up to date with the campaign, that means that you as a viewer have to watch a lot of content, and that's kind of shitty. I recognize that. I also recognize that there's only so many hours in the day, and people got other shit they want to watch, right? So, I started this series, call it P-Doc Shorts. And the idea here was we take the funniest parts, the interesting parts, the cool parts of campaigns, strip those out. It's usually like a small joke or something. I mean, it's like do you want to watch the 4-hour video to get a funny joke, or do you just want to watch the funny joke? So basically, I started cutting these things out and made a separate series. I was like, oh, okay, this will take off because I've distilled the campaign down to the part that is easily digestible and funny most of the time. And, you know, maybe you don't know exactly what's going on in the campaign, but you can pick it up from the context, what's going on, and listening to people banter and stuff. So I would take that. I thought, oh, okay, well, this is my ticket. I've solved the YouTube problem. I've solved the problem with Paradox uploads. Nope, fucking no one watches them. No one watches them. Hundreds of these things. And if I go back to any period of time where I'm actively uploading both series, you know, because I upload the P-Doc shorts during the series. So I'm uploading regular videos and P-Doc shorts, and somehow the P-Doc shorts have less views than the regular series. Again, it's something I don't understand, but it's just telling me, YouTube is telling me, that people don't want to see the short funny parts of campaigns. They want to see, I don't know what the fuck they want to see, but they definitely don't want to see the short condensed parts of campaigns because no one fucking watches them. So YouTube is telling me that this whole series is shit. So I'm inclined to stop making those too. Now that would be my inclination, except that when it comes to making videos, these are probably the most fun parts to upload. Like, that's when I edit a series and I say, oh my god, this part's really good, I'm going to edit that out and make it a funny P-Doc short. And it's probably poking fun at someone. You know, maybe Last Resort said something weird. You know, maybe Chad made a funny joke. Who knows? Whatever it is. Maybe someone's just playing some air horn in the background. But whatever it is, that's the shit I edit out, and I say, this is the funniest part of the campaign. And if you have a sense of humor anything like mine, you're probably going to like this video. But no one watches them, so it's like, well, what the fuck? Okay, that's another thing that kind of annoys me about YouTube. While we're on the subject of things that kill my motivation to work on videos, of course I have to mention people at Paradox saying that I'm unprofessional. Because apparently everyone with 500 or more subscribers is expected to have a full video production team. Whatever their complaints are, I guess I'll just send that through my agent, because clearly that's the thing that professionals do. And of course I've talked about this video, which I believe is my most disliked video of all time. Now, of all the people that decided to give it a thumbs up or down, 94% decided to give it a thumbs down. And you know, I can understand it because the title's misleading. We're beta testing Victoria 3. Well, this is a P-Doc short. This whole video is one massive 2-minute long joke. And the joke is that someone hopped into the Discord chat not knowing what we were doing, and so we were pretending that we were playing Victoria 3, and we were joking about how shit the experience was. That was the entire joke. If you talk to people in multiplayer, I would say the majority of them do not have high hopes for Victoria 3. And in fact, most of us are worried that Victoria 3 is just going to be a clone of EU4, which is not going to be good for Victoria. Alright, so anyway, a lot of people dislike this video. Alright, so whatever, you didn't get the joke, you didn't like the fact that you got, I guess, tricked into coming here. Whatever. Okay, that's fine. Now, am I going to call Paradox aficionados who watch YouTube videos massive fucking hypocrites? I don't know, maybe I am. You decide for yourself. So here we've got a video. It's Victoria 3 exclusive gameplay reveal. So again, a misleading title. We have an 8-minute long joke video. And hey, look, it doesn't have 94% dislikes. Wow, look at that. How incredible. Let's go back. Let's see what else. 0 to Hero. This is the big thing that everyone's been waiting on. And I know everyone's been waiting on it because I get comments about it. Used to be every day, but now it's like, I don't know, once a week or something. Basically, people message me and it's like, when's the next one coming out? When's the next one coming out? I don't know when the next one's coming out. How do I continue this? I have to say that you are not the target audience for 0 to Hero. That's going to sound really odd, but let me explain. When I started making 0 to Hero, there was a very specific reason. And here it is. Back in the day, I knew some people in real life who knew that I played Victoria 2, were vaguely aware of the game. They knew I played it a lot. They knew somewhat that I uploaded videos. They didn't watch the videos, but they knew that I uploaded them. And they were curious. They wanted to know how to play the game and they were interested in jumping into multiplayer. So what did I do? Well, I go online and I start searching around, and I look for tutorials, and they all sucked. I'll be honest, they were terrible. They will tell you what Victoria 2 is, but they won't tell you how to play it, and they certainly won't show you how to play it. And you know, that was a trend that I was like, these are awful. So it's like, either I have to sit here and show this person how to play the game, or they're gonna have to learn on their own, just completely on their own, essentially. So I started making the series. And I didn't set out to make the most comprehensive Victoria 2 tutorial of all time. That really wasn't my goal. But that's kind of where it went. Now, the unfortunate thing is, these same people that were interested in learning about and trying Victoria 2, they changed their mind. They didn't want to try Victoria 2. They didn't even watch the goddamn videos. I think it was through part 3 at the time. Basically, I've spent all this time making these videos. And again, I edit them tremendously. For an hour-long video, that's at least 3 hours of recorded footage. I think I mentioned my last video took damn near a full day to finish, and that was about 3 hours long. This one's going to take a long time too, even as I'm just kind of sitting here rambling. But basically, spent all this time making these videos, and then the people that I made them for didn't watch them. So at this point, I'm just like, well, what the hell? Why do I keep making it? And again, when I'm actively uploading videos, I don't see how many people watch these videos. They just disappear. They're gone. So I upload the video. It's there for like a day. I see, okay, 100 people watch it. Fantastic. That's more than just about any other video I upload. And then it's gone. And I never see it again until people start commenting on it. And even then, I don't really pay attention to it because I can respond to comments without going to the video itself. So yeah, that kind of killed my motivation to work on it. And it's not easy for me to get that motivation back. And the reason why is these videos are incredibly tedious to make. Incredibly tedious. Now, maybe you got something out of these videos, or maybe you didn't, but I've spent quite a bit of time teaching labs, teaching college students. You know, I get some of the same complaints. Some of the students would tell me, oh, you're too monotone. And, you know, I'd politely think to myself, well, it's just because you're tone deaf, but whatever. And then I have some students tell me, you're the best instructor I've ever had the whole time I've been in college. And that's because of the way that I teach. I don't just tell you what to do, I show you what to do. And I show you why you do it that way and what happens when you don't do it that way. And if that doesn't work, I'll show you 5 other ways to do the exact same thing until one of them sticks in your head. That's how I approach teaching. That's also how I approach these videos. That's also why I end up showing you how to do the same thing 5 different ways. Now, for some people that sticks, for some people it doesn't, and some people don't like it. That's fine, you're welcome to that. You know, you're welcome to your opinion. But if I'm being honest, the main reason that I haven't uploaded part 6 is right here. These 2 dislikes. You say, oh, that's stupid because you've got 200 likes. Well, let me show you the analytics. So you look at this and you say, oh, that's all great. I mean, I made $10 for the video, tons of people watch it. The average view time is 20 minutes, which is pretty fantastic for YouTube, even though the video is like 3 hours long. But what actually sticks out of my mind, let me load this up, is right here. The day it went up, I uploaded the video. Obviously it was private when I uploaded it because that's the way YouTube works. I screened it a couple times myself, you know, made sure it was up to standards, made sure there weren't any glaring problems with it, and I put it live. And the second I put it live, someone went and disliked the video. This first dislike is the reason you don't have part 6. And you say, oh, that's stupid because 200 people liked it. No, 200 people didn't like it because that first day, 100% of people disliked it until people started actually watching it, and then it started to get some likes. But again, that's human nature because why the fuck am I going to make a video if people are just going to instantly dislike it? I don't need to make the video. The target audience is no longer going to watch the video. Frankly, I don't have the motivation right now to make the video. I could make the video. I could say to hell with it, you can dislike it if you like, and that'll be part 6. But this one dislike threw me off. It really did. You see, it's one thing to have a video that, I don't know, it's 50-50 likes versus dislikes, you know, over time. But it's another thing when you upload a video and then instantly get shit on. Same thing that happened with the EU4 videos. Same thing that happened with, well, shit, just about any video that I upload nowadays. Basically, it kind of kills your motivation. And it's not that I can't upload, I certainly could, but I don't want to sit down for 12 fucking hours to make a video just to upload it and have someone instantly dislike it. because that really kills your mood. It really does. Whether you are doing it as a YouTuber or just as a hobby. I don't know, let's say you're outside doing a sidewalk chalk drawing and then someone just came and stomped on it. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter how many people come by after that. What you're going to remember is the person stomping on it. Basically what happened here. I don't know who this is. All I know is that they saw it instantly and decided to dislike it. So thanks. You've saved me a lot of time because I haven't made part 6, in large part because of you. And I'm not saying this is logical. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that, you know, this is the best reason, but that is one of the main reasons. And that's just because if you're going to do something and instantly people are going to shit on it, then why the fuck would you do it? Am I going to do it to spite them? I mean, I don't need to. YouTube's already told me that I do better when I don't upload. So I can just continue not uploading and presumably make more money than if I do upload. Let's talk about money. And again, some people might get offended by this, but I'm just being honest. So since 2014, which is when I first was able to monetize videos because everything I did before that was derivative in some way, I've made a whopping $661.91 through YouTube. I'm going to do some really basic math here. See, I've got 2,562 videos that are currently up. That doesn't include ones that have been removed for various reasons. And the shortest videos that I make take at least 15 minutes to make. Some of them take weeks to make, but we're just going to assume that every single one of these videos takes 15 minutes, which is 1/4 of an hour, or 0.25 times 0.25. So that's how many hours, with the absolute most conservative estimate you can imagine, it has taken to make all of these videos. 640 hours. Well, that's $662 divided by 640.5 is an hourly rate of just over $1. Now, I don't know about you, but I've got bills to pay. I can't work for $1 an hour. And that shit just isn't going to work. And, you know, if it's a choice between making $1 an hour, maybe, if I'm lucky, working on videos, versus going out, hopping in my car, and making 20, 25, maybe even $30 an hour, it's a no-brainer. The money is not an incentive for me to do YouTube. And in fact, YouTube has shown me that, according to the money, the incentive is to not make videos. So, I've got bills to pay, which means if I'm going to optimize for paying those bills, it means I need to not do YouTube. It means I need to do anything but do YouTube. So let's put all the pieces together from start to finish in this huge rambling video, which apparently you've listened to up until this point. Number one, my situation is not the same as it was 2 to 4 years ago, which means money is actually a concern. So if it's a choice between maybe making $1 an hour or making $20 to $30 an hour, I need to go make $20 to $30 an hour because I've got bills to pay. In fact, just sitting here making this video is costing me money right now. But, you know, I figured I need to make something, so here you go. Number two, videos are no longer as fun to make as they were 2 to 4 years ago. There are many reasons for this, including the groups that I play with, the style of the gameplay, as well as just the reality of my work situation. I can't sleep for 4 hours, get up, play a game, and pretend that I'm interested. I just can't do it. So third would be YouTube telling me that I need to not upload for various reasons, including getting more subscribers when I'm not uploading, as well as making more money when I'm not uploading. And fourth would be lack of motivation for all the reasons that I mentioned previously. So when it comes down to it, I don't want to sit down for 12 hours to record part 6. I could, but right now I'm not going to. So I've got more important things to do. Even if I didn't have more important things to do, I've got less important things to do that I'm still going to do first. So there you go. That's the history up to this point. And you know, don't forget to dislike and unsubscribe. But now let's continue with what's going forward. So this is sort of my plan. Essentially, my stint on YouTube as a non-YouTuber has failed. So I'm just going to continue doing my own thing. And here's what I'm hoping to do. We've been talking in Filthy Casuals about starting up some new campaigns. And I've been putting that off. And that's been entirely my fault. Number one, just lack of time, but also, you know, I have to worry about real life right now. Unfortunately, YouTube comes second. I know that's a shock to a lot of people, but YouTube is not real life. So that's one reason. But we are talking about starting up some things, and I'm hoping to get back into some more fun games, not the ultra competitive games that I've been in lately. If you want to see that hyper competitive style, I can certainly understand where that would be a disappointment. But it's stressful, it's not fun, and for all the reasons that I mentioned, it's just not something that I'm going to do right now. I'm not going to take time out of the busiest time of the week to do something that I don't want to do, and then spend even more time editing it to make it somewhat coherent for YouTube. That's just not going to happen. But I'll be happy to play a game that's more casual and more about just having a good time than it is about killing everyone else in the game. Well, that's one thing, and I'm hoping we can start a campaign next month. And we initially was hoping we'd get started last month, but didn't quite work out. And this month got put on hold again. So again, hoping we can get started next month, but we'll see. But aside from that, I'm not interested in doing these super competitive campaigns anymore. At least not right now. I don't have time for it. Too stressful. Other better things to do. Second is, as far as YouTube is concerned, if I'm going to do YouTube going forward, I have to make videos that are actually fun to make. Ones that are a hobby and not a chore. Because that's what YouTube has been for the last 2 years, is a chore. And if you consider the money, then it's a job, and it's a really shit-paying job. So, again, that's not going to work going forward, and I can't do it, and I'm not going to do it. Sorry if that's a disappointment, but that's just the reality of the situation. Now, even as I haven't been uploading to YouTube, I have been doing other things on the side, and I will probably make a video about those things next, because, they might be useful to some of you. But basically, it's not that I haven't been gaming. I have been gaming in my free time, but I just haven't been streaming it or uploading it. I've been playing a whole lot of Mayo and Taxes, single player, and I've actually, like I said, I think analytically. So I go through and I say, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. I actually made my own submod to address a lot of those problems. So a lot of the spam and stuff that you see in Mayo and Taxes, I fixed it. A lot of people seem to like my submod, and if and when I have time, I'll get back to editing that. But at some point, I'm going to make a video about that, because maybe you'll like that submod too. Something else I've been doing, I made a tool using C++, which is practically essential for playing Mayo in the late game. Basically what it does is it removes all the spam from the save files, and I'll talk about that. Also, I made something that makes modding a bit easier, but separate programs. So basically, I've been doing stuff in the background, but what I haven't been doing is saying, donate to my Patreon so I can continue making quality updates and shit. I haven't been doing that. I've just been doing it because, again, I'm a gamer first and YouTuber very, very distant second. The last thing that I'm going to say is, if you've been watching my videos for a while, then you probably have a pretty good idea of my stance on censorship. And that is, I'm not going to censor the players that I play with. There's really only one word that I censor, and it's not the word that you think. So, just because someone says something doesn't mean that I agree with it. And I'm not going to put up with this guilt by association bullshit that everyone's pushing nowadays. I'm just not going to do it. So again, I'm going to make the videos that I want to make, and if people in those videos want to say something inappropriate, it goes in the video. That's the way I've always done it. That's the way I'm going to continue doing it. And if Paradox is going to call that unprofessional, they can go fuck themselves. If YouTube is going to demonetize me, they can go fuck themselves too. YouTube can delete my channel. I'll just go fuck off and do something else. But I'm just saying right here, I'm not going to put up with the bullshit. I am not going to cater to pearl clutchers who go into a fit every time they hear a naughty word. Not my problem. And along that same line, Sugar Tits Jr. is probably going to be joining us for the next campaign, so look forward to that. Guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.